I don't have a medal for this.
Destiny 2 Confessions. This is where individuals come and share their deepest, darkest secrets within Destiny. When I say dark, I mean dark. Some of these are terrible. Honestly, some of the people that play Destiny 2 are just crazy. Some of the wildest people. We're going to scroll through and find some of the juiciest ones here. I'm a transmog leech. If I see someone cool looking in the tower, I inspect their guardian, screenshot it, and then I steal it. I think we're all guilty of this at times. I think sometimes you see someone cool in the tower, the first thing you think is, that could be me. Destiny 2 Confessions. About an hour and a half into day 1 Salvation's Edge, I turned my Xbox off without saying anything and told my team my internet went out, but in reality, I just went and got some goldfish and watched the Evan F and CB Gray stream. We weren't clearing first. Damn. He just turned his Xbox off and said, nah, I'm good. Honestly, that day 1 raid was so difficult that this is a fair opinion, right? There's a level of difficulty to clearing a day 1 raid where, is it even worth it? Like, I just cleared Desert Perpetual day 1. It took us 46 hours. These raid races are getting crazy these days. Cold Heart on Rolk guy here. Oh god, so this is the guy who, instead of using a div, he used Cold Heart. Okay, this is too far. One more from the hypersexual gay for... Okay. These confessions are unhinged. This guy, Destiny 2 Confession, says, I hate raiding with my clan. They low-key suck most of the time, and the amount of infighting is crazy, but I have none else to raid with, so I put up with them. Destiny 2 Confession says, I know Salt de Grepo didn't cause it, but a tiny sliver of me still dislikes him because of the div nerf. The majority of me dislikes him because he'd rather make the game harder for everyone rather than handicapping his own builds and not using things he claims are broken. The Salt de Grepo slander continues in perpetuity, but his opinions are pretty fair. I think he's a cool guy, and I think he's genuinely trying to create systems in Destiny 2 that make sense and scale upward in terms of skill and power. So the most skillful people will be the most powerful people, right? People that can do the crazy weapon swaps and, you know, loadout swaps and everything, right? Have min-maxed everything. So that's kind of what he advocates for because he's in that category. Now, everyone is going to advocate for their own thing. It's just having a bias, right? So if you're a more casual player, guess what? You advocate for Destiny 2 to be a more casual game. Destiny 2 Confessions. I hate Keith David as Zavala, and I'm tired of pretending like he is a good fit for the role. It is a huge difference from Lance, and it seems like Keith made no effort to be Zavala. I'm positive a better voice was out there. Damn, that's messed up. The Keith David slander needs to stop. All right, Keith David is a legend. Now, if we're speaking about his role as Commander Zavala, it's hard to say and he's doing a good job or a bad job necessarily. I haven't seen him do a bad job. It's just, you know, he's just voice acting, right? It's whatever Bungie wants him to say and do. If he were to try and be much more like Lance Reddick, if he were to try and be much more like the original, Zavala could also come across weird because it's like, you know, you're replacing someone that passed away and you're basically impersonating them, which is really not what he's trying to do. He's not trying to pretend to be Lance Reddick being Zavala. He's trying to be Keith David as Zavala. And whatever that may be is up to Keith David's interpretation of the character. You may not like the way he's doing it. You might think, well, I liked Lance Reddick more, or Lance did a better job at this, and that's fine. I don't think that he's a bad fit for the role. I just think that he's different, you know? And we'll always just appreciate Lance more. It's a hard role to step in as Keith David. You have to jump into a role from someone that was beloved by a community and is truly irreplaceable. Like, Lance Reddick is irreplaceable as Commander Zavala. All I hear when I hear Zavala now is, welcome to hell, motherfucker. Destiny 2 Confessions. I really think a lot of people will agree with me that Bungie should add a way to tab between all encounter stats once you finish a raid/dungeon, so you can see the damage for every encounter and not just the last one. That would be nice. And this would also lead to significantly more bullying, because then you can see who did the least amount of damage every encounter. Now, it would also be nice to combat the DPS counter. You have ad clear, you have DPS, right? There should also be numbers for like how much damage was debuffed. You know, if you're the guy that has to run the tractor cannon, could calculate up how many times you hit your tractor cannon shots on enemies or something, you know? The way the raids are working now, they're significantly more complex. The team dynamic is much more than just clear the ads and shoot the boss, right? There's a lot going on. Destiny 2 Confessions. I lost a friendship because I got Vex Mythoclast 4 times from Vogue, whilst my friend still had 0. I was trying to help him get it. Damn. Destiny 2 Confessions. I used LFG to find a replacement in a 10-hour Master Salvation's Edge run. Don't ask. And they were hard cheating, and I thanked them and didn't report. This is messed up, dude. This is a lot of people's experience. Cheaters will literally load into Fireteam Finder, LFG, you name it, and they will just run people through activities. And they do so because they have the power to, and Bungie doesn't ban them. God, this one's crazy. What the hell? Destiny 2 Confessions, go crazy. During Pantheon, I used Fireteam Finder and I met a girl. Did not think anything of it. If you know your mechanics and roles, that's more than enough for me. So I did week 1 with her because she would spam invite me and whisper constantly, and I would join thinking nothing of it. Week 2 hit, and I noticed she would act differently when others would join, like sort of like a girlfriend type of vibe thing. Still didn't think anything of it until she invited me one day and asked my Discord, and then invited me to a chat where her boyfriend was in, and he went off on me. The guy said I was begging for nudes and having internet. Okay, I was really taken back by the confrontation. I didn't know what to say. Haha, like I was just gaming, you know, no ill will or malicious intention with this girl. So I told her to leave me alone, and boom, week 3 hit, and she started to send me really disturbing messages and pictures of her cutting herself because her boyfriend left her because of me. Also sending on the list of things that were made up. This is insane. Destiny 2 Confessions. You know, if Bungie added BBW body options for Guardians, as well added BBW Elixir, Awoken, Exos, and Hive, and even advertised it in NetEase style, I guarantee you that that Bungie will make millions from it. Even Warframe and Genshin Impact Gooners would be amazed. That's crazy. They're trying to turn Destiny 2 into a Gooner game. We don't need every game to be a Gooner game. It's okay for some games to just be like more conservative, all right? A little more, you know, it doesn't have to be, not everything has to be so overtly sexual, you know? Bungie recently has had some fun though. They did the bathtub thing, right? They said like Marsov's bathtub, literally, right? And then they did the feet thing. So Bungie's starting to test the waters with some, you know, Gooner game elements, right? They're like, hey, let's see how this does on social media. BBW Elixir, I guess people would go crazy, right? Oh god, this one has a lot of likes. Destiny 2 Confessions. I want the dungeons to be casual. I don't have friends playing anymore, and I certainly don't have the time to build a loadout for 10 million DPS for solo. I just want to have to be a decent challenge, and that doesn't need me to invest hours that I don't have. Wow. Now, the nice part about this one is that wanting the dungeon to be casual is what you're going to get. They had that Explorer mode, so you can now play the Explorer mode, but you can also play Ultimatum mode, and you can scale up along the way. So Destiny 2 is a game for casual players and hardcore. There's no reason to not interchangeably go back and forth between one or the other based on what your time investment is. Explorer mode should be on all dungeons and raids. There was no Explorer mode for the Edge of Fate raid. And really there should be, huh? There should definitely be, because that would get people in there.